Well, welcome back to the cave. We're enjoying a beautiful day. It's absolutely gorgeous out. I don't know why I have a long sleeve shirt on, but it's just warm and sunny, and the wind's got a mild breeze blowing. But we want to talk about something that's not so great and joyful and warm and fuzzy. We want to talk about persecution. And the early church in the days, in the centuries, years after Jesus' death, the early church was persecuted, probably in some extremely hideous ways. We know that power, some of the Caesars of Italy, of Rome, we know that they were most of them were evil men, but some of them were incredibly evil. Nero, Caligula, for example. And Nero, it's said that some of the Christians were actually, their shirts were dipped in wax, and then they were strung onto poles in Nero's garden, where he would light them and burn them to light up his garden parties that he would have. I can't imagine how that would be fun or interesting for those people attending the party, but we just see how power and absolute power corrupts just so purely and absolutely, how insane leaders can get when they're given power like that. And we've seen it through history. We've seen it with Hitler in the 1940s, how because of Germany's economy was in such bad shape that there became this charismatic leader that was able to convince the population and convince the government that this was the way to go. And we all know the story of what happened, that at least the numbers that are thrown around are like 6 million Jewish people were the genocide that happened to the Jewish race in Poland and in Germany, and also the Polish people that went through genocide too, that were killed, were murdered during that time. I guess 40 million people is the total for World War II. That's a lot of souls that were lost during World War II. 40 million people died. And so we want to talk a little bit about of the invasion of privacy that we're seeing here in America, supposedly the land of the free. But if you've noticed on intersections around our country, there's going to be a video device. It's a video camera. It's a long white tube that keeps track of your license plate and also can do some facial recognition of people that are inside the car. And while this might be a good thing, you could say, well, you're going to catch more criminals that way, and that might be true, but we just do not, I personally don't like the invasion of privacy that's happening here in America. Another thing is on a technical level, the invasion with our laptops and our phones. They all have microphones and cameras in them now, and these cameras don't just work one direction, like from the camera that way. They can work either direction. They can be turned on to see you, and the microphones can hear you, and they can go the other way. You can also send audio the other direction, which is a really dangerous feature in my mind. Also, the RFID, the radio frequency identification tags that have recently been in the news, these devices are being put into, are going to be put into, if they're not already, into clothing, into tires, into appliances, and they have the capability of actually kind of spying on you. They're called spy chips, but they can keep track of your activities, of what you do, things, the kind of clothing that you like, the kind of personal things that you buy, and they can keep track of this information and also relay it. When you purchase the item, it can also keep track of who you are and all your credit card information, and that's how they can track, and they can use what's called data mining. They can use this to create these huge databases on your likes and dislikes and just all kinds of information about you personally that you might not want anybody to have. Also, the one world government. We're told in the Bible that there would be a one world government that's coming, and a couple things that might spur this to happen more quickly is terrorism, world terrorism in the world, food crises, water crises, and just the whole maybe a threat from outside, or even a potential threat from outside of our world, maybe possibly an asteroid where the world needs to unite to combat this, or maybe even something even more crazy or sinister, like possibly an extraterrestrial visit or something, or a demonic. I'd like to think of it more as an interdimensional demonic attack. But that's some of the things where we're headed. Also, we're being attacked in the drug. The pharmaceutical corporations are just bombarding us with drugs that we get addicted to. Instead of curing problems like cancer and depression, they're giving us things that we have to take every single day. And of course, this is just doing nothing but it's helping our symptoms, but it's not curing the problem, and it's increasing their revenue is what it's doing. Also, our air. We're seeing, if you notice the sky, a lot of these planes, we never used to see the contrails from planes that would stay in the air as long as they do today. They used to just, it used to be water vapor that would just disappear behind the jet engines. But we're seeing this vapor actually condense and spread out into chemical, what we think is chemical clouds that could affect our environment, could infect the air that we breathe. Also, the electromagnetic radiation is increasing with the RF radio frequency energy radiation is increasing in the form of cell phones, cell towers. We know that the human brain operates on a frequency, electrochemical nerve stimulation stuff, and it can be affected. It is affected by radio frequency. We don't know really, I don't know personally what the levels are that can affect you. Some people probably are more susceptible than others, but it is an area of concern for us. Also, our food. This is a big area. We're forced to eat the food that we can buy, and most of us don't grow our own foods anymore, so we're forced to buy the foods that are in our supermarkets. We've bought bread before from a company I won't name. I almost named, but I won't do it. And this bread we kept in our house for a couple weeks. There's no mold on it. We took it out to our chicken coop to feed it to our chickens. It actually sat there for like a couple months, and the stuff is still not moldy. Now, they're putting just truckloads of preservatives and chemicals into a food that we eat to increase the shelf life and increase their profits. Now, it's not good for your body. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out. It's not good to eat this type of food. In fact, you need to be really careful about what you put into your body. Also, the GMO, the genetically modified foods that we're eating, where they actually are splicing genes into the sequences of these plants and animals, to increase yields, to, in one case, manufacture an insecticide that is inside the corn kernels that keeps bugs from wanting to eat it, but the chemical doesn't go away. So we're actually, when the consumer gets the product at the store, we're actually consuming. You can't wash it off. It's actually inside the product. So you're actually eating these, and the residual is being filtered and being stored in your body fat. So it's a huge area of concern. Also, the whole Terminator seed thing, where another big corporation, which I'd really, actually it's Monsanto. I mean, this huge corporation that makes Roundup. They make all kinds of insecticides. They're trying to get the patents on all kinds of seeds. They really are becoming a monopoly on the world market as far as seed goes, and they want to. I don't know if they've already done this, but the Terminator seed is what they'd really like to do is make all seed Terminator seed, to where you have to buy new seed from them each year. You can't just go out and save seed from your harvest. You grow a crop and you harvest it and you sell the grain, but you save a portion of it back so that you can replant your fields. Well, they want to sell nothing but Terminator seed, where each year you have to buy new seed. Well, yeah, it increases their yield, their profits of their corporation. So it doesn't just stop there. Also, with our water, we've known since the 60s or 50s that fluoride, or what is called fluoride, has been introduced into our water system as a way of helping bacteria not grow on our teeth. And what we're finding out is that what they're calling fluoride is really a chemical cocktail of all kinds of chemicals that really are not good for anything and shouldn't be, are toxic chemicals and shouldn't even be in our water at all. And there's all kinds of information on this stuff on the internet, many websites that deal with this. We just kind of want to just reinforce it for the Christian community that you need to pay attention to what's going on around you. God's told us that in the last days, in the end times, that there would be issues with our food and with our water and the air, and just, if these days weren't cut short, all flesh would die. So, it just helps us to be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. We need to know what's going on around us. And remember, back in the first century, I guess I kind of tripped over this in the beginning, but in the first century, the early church they had to meet in the catacombs and in caves to escape the persecution, religious persecution that was going on in the first and second centuries and third centuries. So, we wonder if that could happen again. Of course it could. And we need to keep an eye on our government, on governments of the world, that they don't get in, that this kind of legislation is not brought to light to where they're going to start persecuting us for the God, the only true and living God that we worship. So I hope this gives you something to think about. There's definitely some issues in our environment. It seems like they're all trying to just beat us down, to make us unhealthy. And I encourage you all to do everything that you can. Take vitamin supplements, Youngevity, Majestic Earth has a great product out. Just find some great products that you can supplement with to help for all the food that's being grown for us. The soil's been depleted really of all the natural minerals and organisms that we would get if you were rotating crops like God really wanted us to. So you need to supplement with a good vitamin mineral drink. Drink clean water, pure water. Check the label on the bottle. Make sure they're not adding anything to it. Even if it's filtered, that even a reverse osmosis is okay as long as they're not adding anything to the water. So anyway, there'll be more to come on this subject. We're going to try to give you an update monthly, once a month, on what's going on in our environment. But listen, hopefully we all won't have to run to the mountains and actually have our worship services and hide in caves like this. We hope that never happens. But from the cave, this is your global update. God bless you. Shalom, Mishpachah.